The directors from the Examination Council of Zambia present. All senior staff from headquarters, Ministry of General Education and Youth present. Invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. We wish to welcome you this afternoon to this important event. Just 2 weeks ago, we were here in this place witnessing the announcement of examinations for 2020 for the grade 7 composite exam as well as the grade 9 exam. You're welcome here.
I'm sorry. Sure.
Permanent Secretary in charge of Technical Services, Dr. Kanumba, which was to recognize the presence as well. Just 2 weeks ago, we were right here in this place where our Honorable Minister was announcing the grade 7 composite exam for 2020 as well as the grade 9 internal. We are back here again this afternoon, a similar event where our Minister is announcing the grade 12 2020 examination results. And we wish to welcome you this afternoon once more. Without wasting much of the time, I wish to mention that this is how we're going to proceed. We're going to have opening remarks from our Director Standards and Curriculum, which is Priska Simukonda, who will be followed by Director Examination Council of Zambia, Dr. Michael Chilala, and then I'm going to have remarks from our Permanent Secretary, Technical Services, Dr. Jobix Kalumba, and then we're going to have the actual announcement of the results. So our Minister is going to present his ministerial statement. I wish to welcome you once more, and I wish to call upon our Director for Standards and Curriculum to give her welcoming remarks. Director, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Minister Dr. Dennis Wanchinga, the Permanent Secretary in charge of Technical Services, Directors from Ministry of General Education, Directors from Examination Council of Zambia, Senior Officers from Examination Council of Zambia, Senior Officers from Ministry of General Education, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I join our spokesperson in welcoming you to the announcement of the 2020 school certificate results. Honorable Minister, this is another milestone which marks the finishing point in the assessment cycle. Even as we celebrate this milestone, we want to appreciate the efforts and the hard work of all players at all the levels to ensure that we are celebrating this milestone today, despite the fact that we had a very difficult 2020 year. Honorable Minister, as we listen to the statement, we want to listen very carefully and look for indicators that are going to help us look at the practices that we have in the teaching and learning processes very closely, so that we are able to pick out the good practices, enhance them, and also employ strategies that are going to bridge the gaps that will be identified. This is all in an effort to ensure that we improve the learner achievement, as it is the desire of the ministry that we endeavor to provide quality education. Allow me at this time to call upon my colleague, Director ECZ, who will continue with the proceedings of this meeting. Thank you so much.
Honorable Minister of General Education, Dr. Dennis Wanchinga, MP, the Permanent Secretary, Technical Services, Dr. Jobix Kalumba, the directors present from the Ministry of General Education, senior staff from the Examinations Council of Zambia, senior staff from the Ministry of General Education, the media, and should I just say all protocols observed. Honorable, we are here again to present results to you, the school certificate results. In fact, the grade 12 examination, the actual name for the grade 12 examination is school certificate examination. This examination marks the end of schooling for a person who would have started school at 7 years of age. And it also marks the beginning of a serious career pursuit as somebody proceeds to tertiary education, arising from how they have performed at this level. It is therefore an exam that determines people's lives and determines their successes or failures thereafter, as it marks the end of schooling and the beginning of a serious career development in the areas that individual candidates who pass the examinations choose. Honorable, we are also aware that this very certificate was given premium in the Constitution, as it is recognized that a person can pursue any political position as long as they obtain a school certificate, which they call a grade 12 or its equivalent. So today, as we discuss these results, after you have presented your statement and released the results, Honorable, we are looking at potential political leaders, potential economists, potential industrialists, engineers that are leaving the school system. And we are proud, Honorable, that by the grace of God and with the effort and guidance that you gave us, we were able to run a leakage-free examination at this level again. And this is a qualification that is given this kind of importance, at which we managed to run this kind of clean examination. This is a milestone, second year in a row with such kind of a report. And it is for this reason that we appreciate your guidance and the guidance that we got through you from our permanent secretaries, technical and administration, and the entire management of the ministry as we conducted the examinations as the Examinations Council of Zambia. I also wish to highlight, Honorable, that amidst COVID, the markers managed to gather and mark the scripts. We had some markers found with COVID as they reported for marking. They were quarantined, they were given treatment with the support from the Ministry of Health, and they continued to work in quarantine, leading to the extent that we were able to release these results earlier than was anticipated, considering the examination ended on 30th December 2020. We therefore want to learn from the challenges we experienced last year and hope that continuing to work together under God's guidance, we should be able to continue with this record in this year 2021 and the years to come. We pray that, Lord, you'll be able to give us guidance, Honorable, as we know that this year has its own important issues. This is a year of elections amidst the examinations. And we've had lessons learned from the COVID situation of last year, and therefore this comes with a few challenges that we must be able to get guidance and support from you for us to be able to emerge victorious again this year with successful examinations. We are therefore hoping that as you deliver this statement, we will be able to learn from the statements and from the debates that may arise from here. We will be able to prepare adequately and conduct successful examinations this year once again. I want to report, Honorable, that we received adequate and appropriate support from the Council of the Examinations Council of Zambia, which was appointed by yourself and works with delegated authority from your office. I also wish to represent the Council in presenting these results as they approved the results yesterday, giving us the strength to present them before you for announcement. At this moment, let me not take much of the time, Honorable, and allow me to invite the PS, our Permanent Secretary Technical Services, to be able to give his remarks as he presided over these examinations. And once he has given his comments, we'll be able to invite you to deliver your statement. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Let me recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister, General Education, Dr. Wanchinga, Director, Standards, Director, Applications, Director, Teacher Education, Planning and ECE. Ladies and gentlemen, the year 2020, as already indicated by my colleagues, was not an easy one. It was a year spiced with a lot of challenges, and many people doubted as to whether we were going to run a successful examination. But through the commitment of the Examination Council of Zambia and other key stakeholders in the Ministry of Education, we managed to run examinations successfully. While other countries like Kenya and Uganda and others couldn't manage to run the examinations, the ECZ and the Ministry of General Education, putting our heads together, we scored successes in this arrangement. Our teachers on the ground, the key players, men and women who made it possible for these results to even be announced today, deserve a lot of support and appreciations. During COVID, schools were opened, but our teachers endeavored to teach the boys and girls under those difficult conditions. And as we have heard from the Director ECZ, in all the marking centers for grade 12s, in some of them, our teachers were diagnosed, tested positive to COVID. But again, even during those conditions, they endeavored to mark grade 12 papers. This is remarkable. I remember, Honorable Minister, I'm not taking time, the story of the Bible, when Jesus healed 10 lepers. As they chanted their way from the city of Jerusalem, one of them realized that, no, I had leprosy, but now I am healed. Let me go back and thank Jesus for what he has done. And so when he went, he knelt down before Christ. He said, Master, thank you for what you have done. And then Jesus asked one question that I always get reminded of. He said, where are the other what? 9. Where are the other 9? He said, they are gone. He said, okay, you go. Your faith has made you well. In most cases, I say, even if it is not recorded in the Bible, those 9, wherever they went, leprosy occurred. To teach them the lesson. To teach them the lesson of saying what? Thank you. The other day says it. Thank you for managing an examination without leakages for the past 2 years. It's not easy. While other countries couldn't manage it to successfully conducted a credible examination. And I'm very happy because the cadre that we are going to usher into another phase of life is a credible one. This is remarkable. Honorable Minister, I don't want to say much. May I invite you in a special way to announce the results for the grade 12 school certificate examination. I will have the Minister.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yes, like the spokesperson said, we are once again here to tell the nation how our children performed in the grade 12 examinations. So I know that there are a lot of parents, even pupils themselves, who have been looking forward to this hour to know how they have performed. But before I proceed, let me have the courtesy to recognize the presence of the Permanent Secretary with me here, Technical Services, the directors in the ministry, Director ECZ, other senior government officials who are here, colleagues from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed, like I said, very happy that we have this occasion to announce the 2020 school certificate examination results. I was listening very carefully when the director was saying it's called school certificate because it marks the end. In the past, these exams were known by the name of the people who were preparing them. It would have been like ECZ school leaving examinations, but in the past it used to be Cambridge school certificate. So because they were being prepared with Cambridge University, and even the certificate they had Cambridge University right at the bottom. So yes, the director is right that this is a very important examination because it marks the end of the school career, so to speak, before children go into tertiary education. So I wish to commend the staff who have worked very hard and preparing our children to bring them to this level. This includes all the teachers, the head teachers, the DEPSs, the POs, the management at headquarters level, and all those institutions that work to provide education to our children. It's a job well done. Ladies and gentlemen, I will start by analyzing the candidature of our pupils. We had in our school system 149,982 candidates who had actually entered the 2020 school certificate examinations. And of these, we had boys who were 51.9%. That's translating into 77,955, while 72,027 or 48% were girls. There were 145 candidates with special education needs. As I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, especially the media, you are aware that we do have special schools for children with special needs. And from these, we had candidates totaling 145. And of these 145, 92 of them were boys, while 53 were girls, representing 33% and 36% respectively. So, out of the 147,055 candidates who actually sat for this examination, which represented about 98.05%. So this was not very bad, that was at least 98.05% direct actually start for this examination. Out of the 149,000 who had initially indicated the intention to sit for this exam, we had 147,055 candidates actually sitting for the examination. And of those who entered this exam, we had 76,324 or 51% being boys, while 70,731 or 48% were girls. Now going back to our candidates with special educational needs, we had, like I said, 145 candidates, and in this category we had 142 who actually sat for this examination. representing an exam attendance rate of about 98%. Now, I said 77,955 were the boys who started for these examinations. Who had entered actually for these examinations, but we found that some of the children did not come for the exams, and among the boys, out of the 77,955, we had 1,631 actually being absent, and out of the 72,020 girls who had actually entered for the exam, we had 1,296 actually absent. So when you analyze this absenteeism and comparing to how this occurred in 2019, we noticed that actually the rate of absenteeism was basically the same at about 1.95%. Now let me turn to the actual performance of our children, ladies and gentlemen. The 2020 school certificate examinations played out as follows. I said 147,055 candidates sat for the examination, and we are pleased to inform the nation that of the 147,055 candidates who sat for this examination, 94,010, representing 63.9%, obtained a full certificate, whereas 49,032, representing about 33.3%, obtained GCE certificate, and 4,013, 2.7% actually failed. So our actual pass rate in terms of those who obtained the full certificate is at, let me say, 64%, because it's 63.93%, 94,010, and we had 49,032 obtaining GCE certificate. You know, when I saw this figure, ladies and gentlemen, I went to look at grade 7 and grade 9 examination results. In particular, those grade 7, the percentage of those who obtained Division 4, because this now is the debate we are talking about in terms of how we should restructure our educational system to enhance performance of our children. When you analyze critically the performance of our children at grade 7, we found that those that fell into the category of Division 4 were about 38.6%. Those are the ones who had benefited or who continue to benefit for the time being from this policy of automatic progression. So 38%. And then when you go back to grade 9, again, the percentage of those that obtained only certificates, not full certificates, was again about in the same range, 30 something. Again, today we are looking at grade 12 examinations. Those who obtained only certificates is at 33%. So there is this category of students, I think, we need to work on. So there is a chunk of in our school population, in our children's population, in our education system, that is moving and affecting performance at various levels. So maybe the sieving that we are seeing at grade 9 from those that are benefiting from automatic progression, maybe we are seeing quite a lot of sieving, but that sieving is not adequate. We are not removing those who are not benefiting meaningfully from our education system in the way it's structured for the time being. So these are the kind of statistics we will need to interrogate in the future, because they will help us really to concretize this policy we are talking about of streaming our children, that maybe we are lumping everybody in these academic pathways when not everybody should be there. And when I'll share with you as we discuss these results that when you look at the performance per subject, again we find that it's these other subjects like design and so forth in which children are performing better. So which means then that perhaps those are the people who should have been redirected in that stream, and therefore that if we had a mechanism of identifying our children very early in the education system, these percentages of 30%, 33%, 38% failing to obtain this, failing to progress properly, we could have quickly identified at very early stages and directed these children in other directions. So the way we see now is that the performance, when we say 63% performance, basically, if we had removed these other pupils, we would have seen that performance would have been very high. Yeah, because we would have sieved out those who are bringing the figures down. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to further mention that of the 76,324 boys who started the examination, 2,332 or 3.06% failed the exam, while 70,731 girls who started the examination we had 1,681 or 2.3% failing. So here what we are seeing is that even though we had more boys sitting for the exams, we seem to be seeing a slightly higher failure rate among boys than girls. But as regards to our children with special education needs, the 142 who sat for the examination, 80 of them obtained school certificate. That's at 56%, and 55 of them, that's 38%, obtained GCE certificate, and 7 or 5% failed the examination. And turning to the performance of our children in terms of their subjects which they search for, informing the nation that the candidate performance was highest in design and technology at a mean score of 64%, and least performance in science at a mean score of 24.2%. So that I think that underscores the point I made earlier, that I think these subjects designed that are practical may be good for a number of children who could not benefit from hardcore mathematics and science subjects. And furthermore, we noticed that the candidate performance was also poor in the natural and social science subjects, which included science, mathematics, history, civic education, and literature in English. So this is exactly what I was saying, that these results are telling us a story in terms of how we should look at our education system in the future. The other issue which I think you would like to hear about, I think this is an area of malpractices in our examination systems. 2 weeks ago, when we also told the nation that not have any examination leakage at all. What we had was these other vices, not important to note, to take care of this, like copying, smuggling some examination materials in the exams, impersonation. So these are what we reported on for grade 9, but we had no exam leakage where your papers are flying on social media, people are making money out of exam papers. And I am very pleased that in 2020, the Examination Council of Zambia, in partnership with various stakeholders with whom we work, we are again registering an exam-free malpractice, and a malpractice-free exam where we do not have any paper flying around on social media and so forth. So this is commendable to ECZ, and we would like, as a ministry, to continue to support them in taking measures that have managed to put this vice under control. Like I said, in the case of grade 9 examinations, in terms of the grade 12 examinations, we now have a total of 11 cases of suspected examination malpractice, and that is 7 of these were individual-based, whereas 4 involved whole centers. These were reported, and these took place in the form of assistance. The cases where this malpractice occurred were in subjects such as mathematics, paper 1, principles of accounts, food and nutrition, and commerce. Those that were involved in this malpractice had their examination results withheld. They will be withheld until the committee that looks at these issues within the Examination Council looks at these matters and determines the next course of action. So, as a ministry, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to reiterate that the Ministry of General Education will not tolerate any form of examination malpractice, and anyone found wanting will be dealt with in accordance with the law. I wish to conclude my remarks by saying that I would like, as a ministry, to commend all staff of the Ministry of General Education at all levels, management, and staff of the Examination Council of Zambia, teacher unions, law enforcement agencies, and all other stakeholders who ensured that the 2020 school certificate examination was successfully conducted and processed. Like has been the case nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to advise the nation, the children, and parents that they can access the results through the SMS results release system, generally called SRRS, which is offered by the Examination Council of Zambia through the MTN and Zamtel networks. And for the statements of results, candidates shall access them from the ECZ portal using the examination numbers. And I must emphasize that there are no charges for these services. So parents and children are encouraged to access this free service to obtain their statement of results. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our release process for the grade 12 examination results for the year 2020. Thank you for coming and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. That is the statement, official statement from our Minister of General Education, Honorable Dennis Wanchinga MP. May you allow us, Honorable Minister, at this point to receive a few questions from the members of the press, just in case they have any. Do you have any questions from our colleagues from the media? Yes, sir?
Yes, I missed it. I wanted to find out in terms of provinces, how do they perform in terms of provinces?
Okay.
That's your name and where you are from?
I'm one of Thank
Thank you, Master. Do
Thank
you have any other questions?
Any other question?
My name is Kawanachul from the Zambia Daily Mail. Minister, you mentioned that the receiving process is happening but not adequate. So what interventions are you likely to put in place? And is government going to continue with the automatic progression system, bearing in mind the failure rate of 30 to 34% which you alluded to? And secondly, what is the pass rate compared to 2019 exams, the 2020 and 2019? That's the journey.
Thank you for your question. Did you allow another question?
Yeah, well,
Another question? You only have those questions, Honorable Minister.
okay, I can see the director is there trying to come to my aid on the first question, and also on the third question, and I will deal with the issue of receiving of our children. Yes, as you know, the grade 7 examinations, in terms of the passing, our children are graded in 4 categories. There is Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and Division 4. Division 4, technically, is a failing division. So children who are said they have passed in Division 4, actually are the children who benefit from this policy of automatic progression, because under normal circumstances, those would have been weaved off from the educational system. So we have realized that by allowing this group, which, like the figures are indicating, is somewhere between 30 to 40%, by allowing this group to progress, it congests the educational system upwards. And that's why when you look at the performance at grade 9, it is this same group which will do badly at grade 9. And when you look at the failure rate, and those that who merely manage to get 1 or 2 subjects, the figures there will correspond to the figures that you see in Division 4. So what we are trying to do now as a remedy, there are a number of issues we are dealing with under what we shall calling education system reform program. Under this reform program, for instance, in terms of examinations at the education system at grade 7, we want to remove total reliance on the examination, the composite examinations which take place at the end of 7 years. We want a strong component of continuous assessment for children, so that as children are moving from grade 1, perhaps we may even at some stage start going back even to ECE, but as students move up from grade 1 to grade 7, they have a very, very comprehensive record how they will perform. And that performance, as assessed by the teachers, with records properly kept, that record may take about 30 to, let's say 30-40%. The figures are still have to be decided upon. The final examinations which children will sit for may just constitute about 60 to 70%. And that way, then we will see that the children will receive better attention from the teachers, who make sure that they provide a good assessment for the children. And then those children also who will not be found to be doing very well will be asked to repeat. They will not be allowed to progress automatically, but they will be retained in the to repeat grade 7. But that is the first measure in terms of our reform processes. But the second and long-term measure also will be that the children who will be identified not to be doing well through these school-based assessments will be channeled through, by the time they reach grade 7, they will be channeled through another pathway where skills identified in them will be given to them. Like maybe you have seen from our report that design and technology, maybe these things like carpentry, bricklaying, maybe something that may be very attractive to some of these children whom we are allowing to go and clock the education system upwards. So these reforms are coming. So we are reviewing this very carefully so that we handle our education system better. Now let me turn to the issue of how we have performed by province. I do not have the table with me here, But I suspect the director, this is it as a record with him there. I did not come with this. With me. Director, how have we performed province by province in these exams?
Thank you so much, Honorable. I was told that the lighting there is bad.
Yes.
The provincial ranking is as follows. The Southern Province ranks number 1 at 70.55% school certificate pass rate. And they were also number 1 last year at 70.73%. Western Province was number 10 last year at 56.3%. And they've moved to number 2 at 68.96%. Eastern Province last year, they were number 4 at 66.49%. They have moved to number 3 at 67.22%. Central Province last year, they were number 3 at 67.18%. And they have now moved to number 4, exchanged with Eastern, at 66.52%. Copper Belt has maintained number 5 position at 66.1% last year and 64.46% this year. Lusaka Province was number 2 last year at 67.39%, and they have moved to number 6 at 62.67%. Northern Province was number 6 last year at 63.3%, and they have moved to number 7 this year at 59.68%. Northwestern Province was number 7 last year at 63.3%. This year they have moved to number 8 at 59.53%. Luapula Province has maintained number 9 at 57.56% last year and 58.79% this year. Wanchinga was number 8 last year at 58.88%, and they have moved to number 10 this year at 54.51%. And the national school certificate pass rate in 2019 was 63.93%, was 65.32%. Last year in 2019, it was 65.32%. And this year, it is 63.93%. Last year, 65.32%, and this year, 63.93%. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable.
That answers your question?
Thank you, Director.
Yes, it does.
Do you have any other questions? The last one? Yes, ma'am? Thank you. I don't know if I'll be permitted to ask this question. Honorable Minister, we'll be receiving a lot of complaints from teachers who have been replaced in provinces to say they've not been getting paid. I got a call from some teachers from the Copper Belt who said it's 6 months now, and now they are being sent away from the schools where they are being sent to say if you're not getting paid, it means there's something wrong, so go back and find out the reason. So I wanted to get a comment from you or from PS concerning this issue of replacement teachers not getting paid. Please tell us the name and where you can call. Prudence Chota from Cambridge TV.
Any other question? That's the last one? Oh, okay. Our PS.
They're not getting paid. Teachers are not getting paid, and they're being asked to go back.
The teachers also have been replaced. They replacement teachers. I got a complaint last week where someone on the Copper Belt was called to say, I think you need to go back to the ministry. If you're not getting paid, that gives us a lot of questions. And they said that it's been 6 months. They've not been paid. So I wanted to get a comment from you concerning that.
Okay, the payroll is not managed by headquarters. The payroll is managed by respective provinces and districts. So we will investigate, we'll get more details from the devs and from the POs as to what is contributing to that. Then we'll be able to inform the nation. Honorable Minister, I think that's what I think at the moment. We need to investigate more about that issue.
Thank you, Permanent Secretary. Honorable Minister of General Education, our Permanent Secretary, Directors present, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our event this afternoon, and we wish to thank you for your availability. Thank you for your support. We hope you have a lovely weekend, and please mask up and take care. Thank you so much.